Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. So for my video for this Wednesday, I want to talk about basic strategies for building corporate teams that can interwork. What do I know about the subject? Well, I have a team that's spread across the United States, across the globe. We're in countries like China, Poland, India, Germany, and I have a few tips that I think can make a difference. First, I think we need to encourage open communication. So how do we do it? We do it through team meetings, Zoom meetings, informal get-togethers, coffee table get-togethers where we're just, shooting the breeze, and other ways to sort of share feedback. In some cases, we actually release anonymous surveys to garner feedback from team members that might not be as comfortable communicating openly from a cultural perspective, and it's really worked out pretty well for us. For me, the reason I created this video is that I think we also need to promote respect and inclusivity among team members. What do I mean by that? Well, I think generally speaking, nobody is really out there to get you, right? And I'm not going to go into the situation, but I ran into a situation this week that spurred this video. I'm sure there's a ton of one-off examples that folks are going to come up with and put in the chat, but I think generally speaking, I've worked with a lot of cultures. Regardless of culture, everyone is out for the common good and the common good of the company. I think we need to respect and value each other's contributions to the discussion, right? Nobody gets ahead in any organization by being a jerk. There's another word I wanted to use there, but we're going to leave it at jerk. If they do, they likely aren't well respected. They likely aren't well liked, and people likely go out of their way to avoid the person in question. I think we need to have a certain level of trust that everyone really is trying to do their best to steer the ship in the right direction. We also need to really promote inclusivity, right? I've seen some of the best ideas come from team members that are new to the field, and some of the most stagnant ideas come from people that have been in the field for a long time just because they've never seen anything else. They've never thought a different way. And I'm not saying that people that have been in the field a long time have bad ideas. I'm just saying we need to promote ideas from people who think differently. We need to welcome those diverse perspectives and diverse people. If you're a leader, whether a leader of a project, a group, an organization, we need to lead by example. Doug Ferguson, someone I looked up to in my organization, uses the term positive opinion leader, which to me speaks to general positive behavior and professionalism in our interactions throughout the organization. This isn't to say that we've done a bad days, but we can all have empathy and understanding towards the diverse needs and concerns of stakeholders throughout the organization. Jarek Beeson, another guy who I talk about from time to time, talks about setting clear goals and not being the party of no. I think we can build blended teams across organizations by setting clear goals and expectations without saying no. We could take the time to communicate those goals and objectives, right? If we're talking about cybersecurity, communicate what our goals and objectives are, and make sure that we make it clear how everyone contributes to those goals and what their roles are towards achieving that goal, right? So we can also collaborate, right? We can use project management platforms. We can use those informal chats I was talking about a second ago, or just simply bring external stakeholders in early and often when we're kicking off a project that impacts the work that others do. The other thing that we need to touch on is conflict. If we have a conflict, we need to address it as leaders. We can't just hope that it goes away. Let's just get it out there and get it addressed, right? Maybe we can take the 5 minutes to cool off if needed, but we can handle those conflicts and get back to coming up with solutions and working to improve those interactions in the future. How do we find out that these conflicts are going on or that there's a problem in the team? How about a quick daily check-in with your team in the morning? If your teams are in different time zones, maybe you actively advertise an open door policy for your team members to come and talk about what's going on in their mind with you as a leader. And we need to recognize individual and team accomplishments. We can host team building activities in all sorts of different virtual ways. I mean, we've had great success with virtual team building activities, from cybersecurity bingo to painting classes, cooking classes. One time we even built Legos together over a Teams call. So there's a lot of ways to do virtual team building and make people feel that they're a part of that team regardless of where they're located around the globe. And I think maybe the biggest thing of all is we need to make sure through all this that we're celebrating achievements of folks, whether they're in our department or whether they're outside of our department. Make your department someone that the rest of the organization wants to work with. So let me ask you a question. What do you do to build strong cross-functional teams that work well together that I haven't mentioned? Or maybe a better question, how do you handle those that are out to disrupt cross-functional teams, because there are those people? Okay, see you on Friday. Have a great week.